All right, everybody. Well, hey, hope you're doing well this Monday evening. We are here for Note Night in America. I know I've been away for 3 weeks. Excited to be back with you guys. Got a lot of great stuff that we're going to go through tonight with you. Thank you so much for joining us. We are, like I said, I'm always humbled to have you guys join me on a Monday night on a regular basis. You definitely want to grab a piece of paper, take some notes tonight as we dive into the main focus of tonight's webinar. Is all about finding focus, especially when you're struggling in your note business. And I want to thank all those that registered. We got a lot of people that are going to be joining us here, obviously, in the last, a couple minutes afterwards. They get logged in, they're like, oh my gosh, we forgot about Scott. It's been almost a month. So, but anyway, we've got some good stuff tonight. I think it's going to be very impactful for a lot of you. And that's my goal, is to hopefully make it impactful for you guys. So, like I said, it's all about finding focus in your note business. For those of you that are in real estate, not in the note business, that's okay. Don't hang up. Don't log off. We've got a lot of great stuff to go through that you can adapt or use in your real estate business or whatever focus of business you're in. Whether we had people on that were in the healthcare industry that were joining us earlier. There were people that were doing a variety of things, wholesaling. Look, we all are different kind of impasses in our life from time to time. We're all different stages of our lives, and we all struggle on a regular basis with things. I am not immune to any of that. And that's why I thought this was so important, especially after seeing so many of you that reached out when I asked, hey, what are you struggling with, or what topics would you like to see on Note Night in America, when I asked it last Wednesday night. And overwhelmingly, a lot of people are like, hey, finding focus, I'm struggling. And that's okay. We all struggle. We are all going to do that. Even I struggle to see things done. And it's good to see people out on here that I haven't seen in a while. Michael Morris, nice to see you, buddy. For those that are here, on this, great Andrew Bogey, Barry, Bill, Carolyn, Cedric, Cody, Dan, David, Dennis, Donna Willis, Ernest, George, Jerry, Jeff, Jim, Jimbo, Jim, Bob, Joe, Julianne. Just we got a lot of great regular names, but also some people that have not been in a while. So that's awesome that you guys are joining us. Greetings, Andrew. Yes, greetings to all of you. So we've set this goal, and it still remains the same. Over the next really 4.5 years, we want to educate and help create over 10,000 new note investors. That's a big goal for us. It's something that drives what we are focused on with these Note Night in America webinars, the virtual workshops, the podcast, with what we're doing with the replays of Note Camp 5.0. Really, really focused on trying to help educate and create 10,000 note investors over the next 5 years. And I'm a big believer that is still available. There's still plenty of inventory out there. There's going to be even more inventory in the next 5 years as we see out there. So, but first and foremost, if this is your first time on Note Night in America, who's here on the call? Well, we got real estate investors. We have note investors, obviously. We have people looking to get into notes in some sort of fashion, either investing or doing deals. These calls are recorded. Yes, I hit the red button on this thing. Make sure. Yeah, it's recording. You can catch these at weclosenotes.tv or also by just going to the podcast platform on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, and looking for Note Night in America. They're there for you to be able to watch. But like I said, they're all there on iTunes, Stitcher. I think Note Night in America, the replays are up to about 2,000 replays, which is fine. Our Note Camp Season 1, as we say it on here, but actually 5.0 is up almost 5,000 downloads on iTunes. So very, very appreciative of that. If you're listening to either one of those, do me a huge favor. Please leave a review. Please go and take a few minutes, leave a review either on iTunes or Apple Podcasts and leave it there. Sometimes you've got to be logged in to be able to do that. So take the second to do that. We'd be really appreciative of you doing so. It's one of the great things that we're doing. We've got quite a few of you already did that. Thank you so much. For those that haven't, please go ahead and do that. But while I was gone, we hit over 100,000 downloads. Right before I headed out, up to about 110,000 down. Let's thank you for listening to the podcast. Keeps me rocking and rolling knowing that you guys are listening. A big shout out to our 8 guest hosts that took advantage of the show and in a good way and listened and came in and brought some great information while I was gone for 3 weeks. So awesome. Glad to hear that. Thank you so much to those 8 people: Cody Cox, Gail Villanueva, Gail Villarreal. Gail Villanueva, not Villarreal. Gail Greenberg, Katie Moton, Patty Ped, Chris Saveni, Eric Hyde, and who am I missing there? No, and Bill Grismer. Thank you so much for those. But anyway, we do have a kind of a busy schedule over the next 2 months that I want you guys Probably want to pull out your camera or your phone and take a picture of the upcoming event schedule because there's a lot coming up this weekend. I'm excited. I got a few people coming in town for our fast track training. It's a full fast track this weekend, this Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Get some great people coming in. Joe Tomko, Eric Hyde, Gail Villanueva, just to name a few of you guys. We have a great time. This not this coming Saturday, but next Saturday is also National Social Media Day. So you'll see a lot of posts for the next 2 weeks regarding that. What is that? It's a day. It's just put aside to celebrate social media throughout across the country and across the world. And we're going to be doing a kind of a cool thing. We're going to be doing a 27-hour straight live stream, bringing on social media and marketing experts with our good friends, Christy and Elijah White from Serving Social. So stoked about that. We've been working on that, getting scheduled about halfway full right now. Got some really great big names coming on to help us out with that. So you want to stay tuned for that or check out one of our pages, or you've probably seen a post about National Social Media. Check it out and stay tuned for that. July the 10th, obviously 4th of July is next Wednesday, week from 2 days from now. We have the West Quest $1 Trillion Mixer in Houston. I'll be actually speaking at that. I'm excited to be there in Houston speaking. July 23rd to 22nd is our next virtual note buying workshop, which is just over a month out. So we're pretty stoked about that. Yeah, we've tweaked up a little bit of the schedule on some of these events over here the last few weeks as we've made some adjustments to everything based on what the hotels were telling us and other things that popped up. So July 20th through the 22nd is our next virtual note buying workshop. After that is the 23rd to the 26th is a podcast movement. That's in actually Philadelphia for those that are podcasters. I'll be out there in Philadelphia for a couple of days. And then we're really excited. We've got our first note boardroom taking place in Las Vegas, the 27th and 20th. It's a Friday and Saturday out in Las Vegas. Yes, I'll be jumping on a plane flying out there. What is a note boardroom? It's 12 seats we've got left available for people to come and spend 2 days with us, really some in-depth training on helping them get their business out of the rut and into a much more effective, really note business, real estate business. We're going to focus on finding deals. We're going to focus on some funding aspect of things. But we're really going to dive into the 12 people that are there and spend some time on that. Now, it's not a fast track. It's not my mastermind training, but it's a 2-day, really intensive to really go through really the 4 assets: finding, funding, flipping, and then also your marketing aspect of things for those 4 days. So we're stoked about that. Tickets to that are $2,500. Let me know. It's going to fill up fast. We've only got a few seats left. We finalized the boardroom. We finalized the dates for that, so we're stoked about that. August 23rd to the 24th, for those that are really interested, we have our next Note Mastermind in Dallas, Texas at the Westin. Excited about Westin Galleria, and it bumps up right next to the 25th and 26th, which is the Quest Expo. Now, big thing, if you're not in the mastermind, you still want to go to the Quest Expo, great. We've got a code for you. WCN Expo. If you use it all in caps, it'll get you 25% discount off of the either regular price or the VIP pricing. What was I going to say? They do have a special that ends tonight for those that are watching this live on Facebook or here on Zoom. If you use the code FATHER40, you'll get 40% off for being the last day of the Father's Day special. So take advantage of those 2 discounts. If you're listening to this on iTunes, you missed out on the Father's Day special, just use WCN Expo and go to thequestexpo.com to get signed up. All right. National Social Media Day, like I said, is June 30th, literally one of our biggest events. We're going to shoot for 500,000 views in 27 hours, literally from the East Coast to the West Coast. We've got, we'll have over 30 speakers join us for a solid 27 hours straight. Luckily, Christy and Elijah White are coming in and help me out with it. So we're going to have a great time, the 3 of us, with the other 30 speakers, our friends, some our colleagues, some of the experts, and the people we look up to in the marketing arena. So pretty stoked about that goal. 500,000 views for us on National Social Media Day. So any questions about any events, schedule, anything like that before we dive into the main subject of tonight's webinar? Good to see some people. We're actually doing some live streaming on this also on Instagram as well. So PT Sans, great to see you. Behind the Lens TV, great to see you as well. Thanks for joining us here on the Instagram side of things. But you can catch the main thing on my Facebook page too as well. So anyway, talk about finding focus in your business, all right, is really the topic of tonight's webinar. God, it takes me back to when I used to do not a phone call. We used to do literally teleconferences. People just dial in, no video, nothing. And we would just literally talk for an hour on different subjects and go through different things. It was great stuff. Terso asked a question. Hello, Scott. Welcome back. Isn't the mastermind going to overlap the Quest Expo? No, Terso. It's 2 days. Our mastermind is Thursday, Friday, and the Quest Expo is Friday, Saturday. So we're buttoning up. You're not going to overlap. We're doing 2 days mastermind, and then you have the Quest Expo being 2 days. We shortened our mastermind to make it more affordable and easier for everybody to go to really, who doesn't want to come and spend time with 60 to 80 mastermind students, and then also our mastermind members, and then hang out with 500 potential IRA investors at Quest IRA. So yeah, awesome. Glad you do it. We do have a room block for those that are in our mastermind. So make sure you reach out to Stephanie to get your room block done. Hey, bud. Good to see you guys out there. Awesome. Thanks. So no overlapping, just button right up. And we're going to have, we'll have a VIP room for our mastermind on that Saturday as well at the expo. So, all right, let's move on. Let's get into it. So let me go ahead and say this up front with you, everybody out here. Okay. Because focus is something everybody struggles with. So we all suck ass at it, okay? We suck ass. We suck ass. We suck ass, okay? For those that are watching on Instagram that can't see me doing this, there's a picture of the cheerleaders with that. That's the reason, okay? We all suck. So you've all heard me say the word, just embrace the suck. Look, just embrace it, okay? Just learn to embrace it right now and understand we all suck. And I'm throwing myself under the bus as well, because there are things that I suck at, all right, just like all of you do, all right? We all suck at this, and it's a constant work in progress, okay? One of the things is that we all deal with shiny object syndromes, and we all have goldfish attention spans, all right? We have attention spans less than a goldfish, all right? When a goldfish with a 9-second attention span is longer than ours, you have to realize one thing's wrong with that picture, that's you're going to struggle with focus, okay? And I don't care whether it's your work, your family, you've got deals you're working on, you're struggling with, marketing, raising capital, doing workouts in your assets or fixing them up or getting them sold. We all are struggling with a variety of different things to get things done, okay? I know this because I live it every day. I talk to people every day. I talk to students. I talk to investors that call me up all the day long talking about how they struggle. And I get it. Look, I get it. You're not supposed to have a perfect balanced wheel with everything. Whoever thought of that ideal wheel and being balanced on things like your health and your finances and your family and your work and your hobbies is the biggest crock of crap I've ever heard. Okay? We are not meant to be balanced. Okay, it just doesn't work that way that well. Okay, and now if you find that, great, congratulations, that's phenomenal. You're an anomaly. Most people aren't going to be able to find that. What you have to do is find some sort of semi-flat part of that circle. Okay, something that works well to help you kind of get some sort of a balance between things. But what I often find is most people are struggling with focus because they're trying to do too much. Okay. Or they're trying to do way too much than what they need to be doing, and they need to keep the whole idea of KISS. Keep it simple, silly. Keep it simple, Scott, I say. Keep it simple, stupid, sometimes is what you got to say to yourself as well. But look, we've got goldfish attention spans. And the minute you realize that and you embrace that and realize that that's what you have to do, what you're working with, and that you have to avoid a lot of this stuff that we're going to go through tonight, the more educated are, the better, the happier you'll be, okay? And one of the big things that we all have lists to get stuff done. I'm not going to lie about that too either. We all have a whole crap load of lists, especially being gone for 3 weeks and having some staff turnover. I got a whole lot of stuff that needs to get done. But I will tell you this right now, to-do lists suck, okay? The last thing you want to have is a to-do list, okay? To-do lists, they fake us into believing, they fake us out into believing we are productive, okay? Whenever you've done a to-do list, like I do all these things, you rattle on 20, 30 things deep, and then you start checking off the little things. Well, I can knock that out in 5 minutes. I can knock that out in 10 minutes. I can knock that in 5 minutes or 10 or 12 or stuff like that. We avoid the hard things on that list, like the big 3 things that you need to be doing, the big 4 things you need to be doing, Okay, because we want to look back at the end of the day and see that list that's all long. Like, oh, look, all that's knocked out. 97% of my list is knocked out. Well, really, no, it's not. You faked yourself out because the 3 things that aren't checked off were the most important things that you should have done instead of the unimportant things. Okay, and what do? We push the important things to another day. Oh, I don't have time. I just don't have time in my schedule to knock out the big things. I have to, and what we do is we find ourselves wasting time on stupid things, and that's why you're not effective. Okay. And it is truly a recipe for failure. I only say this because I am pointing the finger directly back at me. Okay. Done this over time. I've gotten better at it. I'm no longer, I'm not the world's greatest organizer. Okay. Steph will crack up and say, well, you're not doing that. Well, yeah, I know I'm not doing that because it's a little thing. I'm not going to focus on that little thing. I'll focus on the big things. And, the little things are a waste of time and energy. And you look at what you could have done and how much more productive or profitable or organized you could have been by getting the bigger things done first. And then the little things would have just filled itself in. Here's this great quote by Shane Sands that I came across. The biggest difference between the people that find time and don't find time is that people that find time actually look for it. Look, we got enough time to get stuff done in the day, but we often will lose it on a variety of things, or actually not lose it. We just waste it, or we let it rot by doing other things. Doing something that could take somebody else 5 minutes, it takes you 15 minutes to do that you should delegate to begin with, or you should have asked a question, is something to think about. Okay. Those that are successful find the time to get things done because they either do the most important thing or they're delegating more of their to-do list out to things. So, one of my favorite things to do is kill the to-do list. Literally, just get rid of it. And what I want you guys to think about is focus on big rocks. Okay, the big rock list. Okay, really more so than anything else, focus on trying to get 3 big rocks done each day: morning, afternoon, early evening. Okay, 3 big rocks each day will help you be much more productive in the long run than in the short term. Okay, and actually will help you be productive in the short term too. You just that sometimes your bigger rocks are the most important things that need to be taken care of. Okay, delegate the little rocks off. Hey, can you do this? Can you find this? Go get this. Delegating best you can do to delegate the great off. And when I see the most from entrepreneurs and note investors is they get to that spot at 20 or 30 notes, maybe 40 notes, where they've been doing it all themselves, and they have this the wall they run into, or especially real estate investors, they run into this wall where they can't do everything themselves. Is the fact that they're doing everything themselves is costing them from being more productive. It's costing them getting things done. Making that higher to allow somebody to go do the 40 hours of work, that the little things that are bogging them down, keeps them from going out and discovering something big or marketing more, or raising more capital, do things. Okay. Usually the big rocks are going to be your most profitable generating items of the day: raising capital, closing deals, marketing to bring in more capital, more deals. Those are usually the biggest things that are the biggest rocks. And always complete the big tasks first, and all the other stuff will fall in. Okay. And once you complete those 3 big rocks, those 2 big rocks, or sometimes just 1 big rock, you're really, really, really going to feel accomplished because you got something big done. And that's what it's all about. The most productive people are doing the most successful people are doing the most productive thing at any given time. That doesn't mean they're filling out paperwork. They've got somebody else doing it. They're not signing contracts, or they got somebody else doing it. They're doing the most productive thing. They value their hour more than anything else. Okay. And I've got 2 pictures of 2 mason jars here, and literally they have really the same amount of rocks and sand in each one. It's just that how they went into the jar is different. On the left-hand side, that jar, whoever filled that, put the little things in first, the medium-sized rocks in seconds, and the big rocks in last. That's why they don't all fit. And the mason jar on the right-hand side, they started off with the big rocks. They put the smaller, medium-sized rocks in, which fit in around the big rocks, and then they poured the sand in, and it filled out perfect. One of my science professors did this when I was in the 7th or 8th grade, and he had 2 big jars like that. And it was people asked you to put the big rocks in first, or the sand first. People were like, oh, put the sand in first. Do the little things first. And unfortunately, that's how we find ourselves in most days. We're doing the little things first, and by the time the day ends, we haven't gotten the big things accomplished. have not gotten the big things accomplished. They're left for another day or another week to go from there. Okay. And so if anything, try to keep this picture in mind about what you focus on. Your bigger rocks are going to be the biggest things that you need to focus on. And often the biggest things are the ones that we put off the most because we're intimidated. We're not the most comfortable with them sometimes. And yes, you've heard people talk about, oh, delegate your weaknesses. I would agree to that. The thing is you have to look at what you have to, what the things have got to get done, and you've got to rank things. Okay. So how do you find big rocks? This is what you're saying. I talk about getting rid of the to-do list, but oftentimes for the first time of doing this, you've got to put a list of what needs to be done. And then you basically going to ranking them in order of importance and expertise. If there's things that only you can do, and I mean only you can do, okay, that's something that you have to get done. But if something that you can delegate off to us, and we'll use this, for example, to a servicer or an assistant or a VA, some virtual assistant of some sort, okay? Or you can hire somebody to go do that for you. That's going to cost you less than what it costs you to do it, your hourly rate. That's really the important thing. If you can do that, delegate it off. Pay for somebody else to go do it. You go do what you have to do, right? And on the things that you can't delegate, rank those. And the biggest three, the most important ones as far as time or profit generating or most importance, those are the ones that you do. Those are what you focus on each day, okay? Delegate or push the rest, all right? Push the rest to a time in the evening or time that you're done finally and it only takes a little while, like scanning documents. Oh my gosh, don't do that. Let somebody else go do it, all right? Have somebody else go do it, or go do it in the evenings when nothing else can be done, okay? Like I say, the most profitable or productive should rank the highest. Now, this is going to work around for those that are working another job or working so full time. You've got to work these things in around the time gaps that you have with your job. If you've got lunch or you've got time in the morning or you got time in the evenings, that's what you have to look at. And honestly, guys, this is only going to be effective if you're honest with yourselves. Okay? Guys and gals out there, if you're not going to be honest with yourself, then you're never going to achieve any success. You're never going to find the type of happiness that you can have, or the semi-balance, if you are constantly just buying into the BS that you tell yourself. Oh, I don't have time for that. Well, yeah, sure. Whether you believe it or not, you're correct. And you find it being more valuable to go run around and do all this other crazy stuff like a chicken with his head cut off versus actually sitting down and get something done. Okay? Now, if you won't do it, just go ahead and remove it off. All right. If you're not going to sit down and do the big three things, then you probably need to get rid of that. Just realize you're not going to do it and try to find some sort of alternative thing to fill in that place. Oh, I'm not going to do emails. Okay. Well, can you do videos? If you can do video, it's faster for you versus the editing thing, then jump on and do that. Do a video versus an email. Okay. I'm not going to do a video. Okay. Can you have somebody else do it? Can you jump on and order something from Fiverr to replace that for what you're doing? Okay. If you won't do it though, remove it. Okay. Or maybe you can partner up with somebody else who has a strength where you have a weakness and maybe work together like that. You never know. Okay. The trick number 2 though is to schedule your time. Okay. And I talked about in the preview of this that I'm going to give you 2 big tricks. The first one is the big rocks. If you can get rid of organize things and have the big rocks aspect of thing where you got the 3 big things each day, that's what you know when you wrap your day up. Okay, what are the 3 big things I have to do tomorrow? Or, before you go to bed at night, it allows you to sleep better too. Honestly, they've done sleep tests on this. For those that had their 3 big things, they knew what they were focused on the next day, they went to bed and they slept stronger. Those that worried about everything, didn't have any type of big rocks, they struggled more. They sat there and worried about everything they had to get done, thinking they were going to forget something, and they didn't get much sleep, and they were even a bigger nervous wreck. And I guarantee some of you guys have wives or girlfriends or spouses. You know what I'm talking about. Or girls, maybe you've got some guys that are worry warts that do the same thing. Okay? But so many of us waste hours and days and let alone weeks, and that turns into months doing unproductive things that we're just wasting time on. Okay? Just wasting time. Because you aren't scheduled. You're not organized when it comes to your schedule. Now, or you're starting multiple projects or doing multiple things, you never finish anything, which is often an entrepreneur's way. Okay. Yes, it's easy to start a lot of projects, but not finish them. That happens a lot. more than you will think with those that are intelligent. They start a lot of things, or they get bored with projects. They don't do it. Some of my best friends in the industry struggle with this. They're a project person. They like new things, but then they fall off. Okay. They get all excited about a new project and they get into it and they get bored with it and they don't want to continue with it. So it falls off and just a waste of time. Okay. A jack of all trades is an expert of none. This is one thing that my dad hammered home into my head as a young youth. A jack of all trades is an expert of none, Scott. If you're going to do anything, do it right and get it done. Don't try to be an expert at everything. You find what you're good at, stick to that, be an expert at that, become an expert at that, and then delegate it off to somebody else. This is why we've always just focused on the non-performing notes. Hey, I'm an expert at that. Owner financing, I understand it. I could teach it, but I don't do it, so I'm not an expert at it. All right, I understand buying distressed debt. Give me a non-performing owner finance note. We can talk about that. But as far as origination or the big fix and flips, I'm not an expert in that anymore. I don't do a lot of that stuff. I focus on my cup of tea where I'm an expert, what I can understand, and I stick to that lane. Okay. So many of you guys and gals out there are all over the place doing a variety of things. They'll fix and flips and wholesaling and rentals. And I'm a dabble with the notes aspect of it. And the reason you're not seeing any success is all your energy is going out the window, bouncing from lane to lane to lane to lane. Okay. It's just completely bouncing and you're not having any type of success because you're trying to be a jack of all trades. Okay. Or you're wasting time. Another thing is that people struggle. Wasted time doing TVs or hobbies that aren't really helping you get any further along in life. Or you're hanging around friends, spend time with friends that really are a waste of time. They don't have the same goals. And you see more of this as you're younger, as you grow into who you are. I know that some of my friends, and that's something I struggle with, I just stopped hanging out with people sometimes because they weren't focused on where I was going. They didn't have the same priorities in life. And so, like I didn't hate them. I'm just like, listen, I don't have time to sit around and drink beer with you 6 nights out of the week. Okay. I've got to be busy and focused on what I do. If you're not going to support me, we got to get rid of you. Okay. And this is a big thing. If you aren't where you want to be, you don't have time for friends. Okay. If you aren't where you want to be, you don't have time for friends. The only time you'd have time for friends is if they're working to get where you want to be. And unfortunately, there's a lot of peer pressure people. You sometimes like, oh, goes that Mr. Moneybags or Mr. Buffett, or I've had somebody refer to another friend of mine, oh, there goes Madoff. I'm like, really? That guy's busting his ass, working his ass off, trying to get things. It's like going to school. It's like working an extra job. Okay. If you aren't where you want to be in life, you don't have time for friends. Okay. You can either bust your butt and get things done, work, take some time off, work, take some time off. Okay. But if you're not where you're at and you're uncomfortable, you either can continue to be uncomfortable or start doing something. Okay. And don't tell me you don't have time. Literally, if you tell me you don't have time most of the time, I'm gonna laugh. Okay. We all lie to ourselves about not having time. This is the biggest lie, biggest fallacy. When somebody tells me they don't have time, I'd rather someone come and say, no, you know what? I love golf. It's my thing to do. I'd rather spend 4 days or 4 hours every weekend playing golf. I'm like, hey, you're honest. Or mow the lawn. I enjoy working on the lawn. That's great. If that's what you do for your fun, great. That's fine. But it could be 3-4 hours. Well, you put business, go do something else. Would you rather go to a movie with your wife or your kids, take them to The Incredibles for 2 hours, and then you get 2 hours to do something else in your business? All right. Don't tell me you don't have the time. Because we all have before work. We've all got the lunch break or lunch hour, or after work. You know, if you've got a long commute home, and you're in traffic, just hang out, knock some stuff out for an hour. You probably get home at the same time anyway, so might as well take that hour, get some work done, and then head out. Okay, and then of course, as one of my favorite guys ever listened to, we always have from 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. If you're working in another full-time job, hey, kudos to you. I get that. But put in some of the time to make things happen. And if you're on Facebook or you're friends with Wayne Snell online, you'll see he's doing the same thing. The same thing we went through last 3 weeks. We're out traveling. We're having a great time. We've worked our asses off, worked hard to live a life that most people can only dream of. Okay? And I'll tell you this. If something is important to you, you will schedule it, whether it's a vacation or whether it's that I need to send an email on Sunday night, or that I need to set up my buffer account for the month, or I need to spend time on LinkedIn, or I need to send an email out to my asset managers. If it's important to you, Take the few minutes and schedule that time to get it done, whether it's the hour every Sunday night or an hour Saturday afternoon or an hour after work every day. Schedule it. Okay. When my health became a priority for me, I went ahead and made a priority by scheduling every day from 12 to 1. Almost every day, 12 to 1. If I'm in the office, 12 to 1. I'm usually, if I'm not with a coaching student, we're traveling, I'm going to be at the gym, 12 to 1 with Thomas Nee every day because it's a priority for me. I pay for it. It's done. Boom. It's totally one of the most important things. My emails that go out Sunday night, most of the time, are already written and scheduled and already done so that they're rocking and rolling. Okay. Zip asked a good question. Transitioning from flipping to buying notes. What's a realistic time frame at 40 hours a day to do cold calling and sourcing notes a week? Could we expect 5 to 10 notes per month? Yeah, you can expect to find 5 to 10 notes per month. But Zip, honestly, I don't think you need to be spending 40 hours to go cold calling. If you've been to any of our workshops, you see where I show you how to build a list of emails, and then you hammer those emails with a phone and one email out goes out to 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 asset managers. Then you follow up with people that have opened the emails. That's a much more effective thing versus just cold calling strangers for 40 hours. Start off with an email like through MailChimp. Okay. Should have said 40 hours for marketing. That's okay. 40 hours for marketing. Yeah. By all means, if you're reaching out to those people, you're communicating, you're spending time in bigger pockets. Oh my, you should be finding 5 to 10 deals a month. Okay. One of the biggest things, if you're struggling, if you're no longer working, okay, you've left your job, your time freedom can strangle you. And what do I mean by that? Well, that's where you are used to having somebody look over your shoulder. So maybe you sleep later. Oh, I'll get up about 10. I'll go do something about 11. I'll work for 3 hours and I'll go to happy hour. I'll go to a networking event or I'll go to a 2-hour networking event. Look, just time block. If you're struggling, pull out a schedule and time block. Hey, I need this time on Sunday evening between 5 and 7 to write my email to get it out by 7 p.m. Okay. Or I need time Thursday afternoon to write my emails that are going to go out Sunday and Monday. Okay. Time block it first. Okay. And after a while, it's going to become habit. You're going to get used to doing it. And you give that habit time to grow. It becomes like, oh, I enjoy this. Now it becomes instant gratification to you every time you've been doing it. It's gratification getting an email from somebody you haven't heard from, or seeing somebody jump on a webinar. It's gratification knowing that all you need is one person to read that email, or one person to see that video or that webinar or comment. One person can change the whole outlook of what you're doing. But if you never get around to doing it, that one person isn't going to go to you. They're going to go to somebody else who's going to do it. Somebody else is going to take the time to do it. So for every time you lie to yourself that you don't have the time to write an email or have a time to do an email blast or call asset managers, that's fine. They're probably going to answer me or see me, okay? And if you're working full-time, I get this. If you're working full-time, 40-plus hours a week, you don't have time to get 20 things done. Or you may only have a day, a few hours in a week to get. Don't beat yourself up. Try to focus on getting three things done. Look at your big rocks list and focus on those 3 things this week and 3 big rocks the following week. And sometimes it's going to be emails, a big thing in marketing, okay? Sometimes it'll be networking. Sometimes it'll be going to an event, okay? And he's like, I just don't have time. I barely have time in the evenings to kind of make it to a networking event. That's what I'm doing each week. I'm like, you know what, Ron? That's completely fine. Keep doing what you're doing. You're going to be fine. Just keep it. And he's like, look, I enjoy what I do. And I'm like, then that's completely fine. If you love what you do, enjoy what you're doing, and this is just a hobby for you, by all means, it's great. But for those of you that are more serious about it, that you want this to be your full-time thing, you got to be focused, and you got to take what time is given to you and maximize it. You can't sit and dilly-dally the 10 hours that you've got into movies and bingo, all right? Gary Vee said this great quote: we are in control of the one asset that will give us the most, we care about the most, and that is time. We all are given 24 hours a day. How those get so much more done is either they have great staff, great vendors, great assistants, get some things done. I'm not lying. I'm a little behind the 8 ball right now as I got back. I'm excited. We got a new marketing person coming on board, getting her up to date on some things. My assets, luckily, I've got some conference calls scheduled with Singer Law Group and Madison, going through exactly where we're at, some things. It says we had to let somebody go. That's okay. We'll get somebody hired, get it back on track. It's just a short hiccup in the road. It's important for me to get those things done. We'll get them done and as they need to be done, but it still doesn't stop me from focusing on big three things every day. That's why I sleep so good at night most of the times. What are the big three things I got to focus on and can I get them done? So, but what should I focus on? Because you're like brand new, don't know what should I focus on. So let's just make it very, very simple. Okay, very, very simple. Okay, big things for you to focus on is where has your income come in the last month? Let's just do that. Okay, where has your income come in the last month and the time that is spent on that to get that? So if you work 40 hours a week, it's 160 hours a month, and you got your salary, great. Figure that out. But if you did have a side gig, you want to look at how many hours you spent in your side gig, and did you make money on that? Now, of course, if number one, if the majority of your money came from something, and that's what you want to do, great, do it. If it's not, then you need to go to number two. That's why I say you got to figure out, if I spent time on what I really want, can I make money with that? Can I replace my income? Can I do those things that I need to do to get better off where I need to be? And if the answer is no, that I'm not going to make any income, then you just need to kill it. Okay? Kill the squirrel and focus on something else. Okay? But if you are going to be honest with yourself and you ask if I really spend 10 hours a week initially, can I bring in 20% of what I need to make or what I would have made somewhere else? And you start looking at your time breakdown. Eventually, at some point, you're going to have, if you really do focus on like those that have, at some point, you're either, hey, you've got some great income because you got two big things going, but you can't run two big full-time things. It's almost impossible unless you delegate, okay? You'll often find that you spend 20% of your time with 80% of the profits, okay? That 80% of the money you make is only spent on 20% of your time. And if you were to focus 100% of your time, your income would probably increase by 400%. You've heard the 80-20 principle? 80% of your income is made on 20% of your habits? Yes. Well, if you got rid of the other 80% of habits that are bad or aren't focused on, you would probably have 400% of the income. Okay? Makes sense? So some of the things that I killed, okay? Some things that I had to kill along the way to get where I wanted to be. I stopped watching Gary Vee and Grant Cardone. I know some of you won't believe that, but I did. I found out that when I get in the morning, I would watch the Daily Gary Vee. It was a half hour to hour long. And by the time I was like, oh man, I just lost an hour of my day watching Gary Vee and Grant Cardone. And I'm like, man, I can't do that. Eventually got to the point where like, man, I'm losing way too much time just watching Gary Vee. And it's great to get motivated, but it was when I lost 5 hours of my work days, that's about a half a day. I lost a half a day productivity in a week. I was like, no. I have to unsubscribe. I have to unfollow. Don't get me wrong. I love Gary Vaynerchuk. Grant Cardone, not so much. But I still listen to it. I stopped watching it and I had to unsubscribe, unfollow so that I was not wasting my time popping up. I stopped attending things that didn't help me. Okay. I literally stopped going to some meetup groups that weren't beneficial to me. I stopped going to a mastermind that was focused mostly on fix and flips and on the note business. I stopped going to conferences that didn't benefit my business. Okay. I wanted to go somewhere where I was the dumbest person in the room. So I can learn. I can grow more that way. But if you're the smartest person in the room, you're not really growing from the event. You're basically standing still. That's what you don't want. Okay. I removed people from my life that weren't supportive. Okay. I literally removed people from my life that weren't supportive. A previous business partner, friends. I had some family that wasn't supportive earlier on, going back about 8 years ago. Okay. Just removed them from my life. They weren't supportive. Had to move on. Okay. Let's see some comments here. Oh, all right. I got tired of being tired and uncomfortable and did something about it. Okay. And that's the biggest thing I want you guys to focus on. I want you to think about where you're at today. If you're comfortable, great, fine. I don't like being comfortable. I like getting uncomfortable. I know it sounds a little backwards, but you're going to grow the most when you actually get off your butt and do something to become uncomfortable, to get out of that uncomfortable basis. If you're struggling to pay your bills, you're struggling to get things done, what are you really focused on? Now, I know some of you guys are working. That's fine. I'm not. If you're working full time, and that's or working more than 40 hours, 50 hours, whatever like that, you got to put food on the table. I get that. Okay. But if you're struggling, I know that I'll give you an example of what Zip just said. Zip asked a question, and this is not narrowing it. I see this all the time. I've had people come to me, oh, I've made a lot of money in the fix and flip business. That's great. How many deals have you done recently? Nothing. Okay, great. Well, can I make $1 million in this? Well, yeah, it's just going to take time. Well, did you make $1 million your first year as a fix and flipper? No. Great. But you got to spend time on this. If you keep focusing on one thing, your other target is never going to get hit if your attention is somewhere else. Okay? Because your attention, wherever your attention is where you're going to be focused on. It's not going to be on that. Because I've had people come in like, I'm going to be focused on this, and I'm also growing a cannabis business. I'm like, just don't even bother with this. And they were really taken back. I'm like, listen, no offense, you're not focused. You can't try to start 2 new things at once. It's never going to work out. So you need to pick one. Okay? Pick one thing and stick to it. I'm always amazed when I see people come from different webinars or conferences, or I'm going to be the fix and flipper, the wholesale king, the rehab king. I know you're not. You're going to spend a lot of money, not get a lot of stuff done, and screw yourself up. I used to go to a lot of Ron LeGrand conferences early on. I saw these people that buy this like 10 workshop kit. Get their masters of real estate from Ron LeGrand, and they were going constantly from workshop to workshop, and they were never have time to do anything. We had a guy come to my mastermind here, come in for a fast track, and he told me he was going from my mastermind to another workshop on student housing, to another workshop the following week. And I'm like, why are you here? Look, I love you. I'm glad you're here, but you're just wasting money being here. You aren't going to do anything. And he took offense to that. He got upset. I'm like, listen, I'm sorry, but you're itching your itch by going around and around and around. You're not going to find any type of truly fruitful activities because you're constantly going to think there's something better out there. And you have a hard time making things happen. Okay. You know, there's a lot of people that are talking about different things in the business. Oh, you can make money in fix and flips or rents or wholesale and stuff like that. That's completely fine. Okay. It's going to take time away. Sometimes going to other places, like I used to go to the Collective Genius Mastermind. It was great. Learned a lot of great stuff and some business stuff with some of the guys, made some great relationships. But after a while, it just wasn't for me. I'm like, I don't need to sit here and figure out how to itemize your flips and your expenses and stuff like that, or focus on your wholesaling stuff, because that's not what I'm doing. You're spending a chunk of time on stuff that's not important to me. Then I could have been back home working on things that would have been more important. So sometimes you got to look at where you're going. It's like, well, is this really benefiting me, or is this going to make me more uncomfortable because of anything? So at the beginning, I killed cable. Okay. I killed the gym. Okay. I fell in love with peanut butter. This literally goes back 13 years ago. I stopped. I got rid of cable. I had a big screen TV. I would just throw in a DVD. I probably wore out Cinderella Man. DVD played it over and over and over. Recite the movie. Every time I see a movie, I get up and I want to like punch something. Okay. But I killed the gym. I killed them where I would come home at night and I would focus on what I need to focus on: my marketing, my LinkedIn, my reaching out to asset managers. I was doing something different every night so it wasn't boring. So I wasn't doing the same thing over and over again, but I was doing something new each night to help benefit myself. The things that I couldn't get done during the day, I did at night. Okay. And what I mean by I fell in love with peanut butter, I still love crunchy peanut butter to this day. Okay. Love it. A scoop of it is mine. I will eat a scoop of it versus I go get a candy bar. Okay. It's very filling if you don't have that much money to go out to eat. Peanut butter sandwiches, still one of my favorite things because it's filling, it's fast, boom. Not the worst thing for you, but it's also, it's fast. It's cheap. Boom. When I had to tighten my belt to be able to pay for something, fine, I'll have peanut butter sandwiches for a week. Well, the money I saved from going to lunch or getting coffee or things like that, that allowed for me to be able to afford a ticket or a plane ticket when money was really, really tight. Okay. Look, I know a lot of us are on shoestring budgets when we start off of some sort of thing. And if you can't keep living life like you're high in the hog. Okay. You can't have a champagne mindset when you are really on a beer budget. Okay. There was times like, look, I didn't eat steak or didn't eat out for almost 9 months. I mean, an actual sit down rest. Of course, you got some dry food through stuff like that, but literally it was really, really cheap. But it helped me in that 9 month really grow up to where I need to be, get things in place. Okay. Over 6 months specifically, I evolved into something better than where I was. Okay. Because I had to grow and evolve into the person that I wanted to be to get where I wanted to go. A lot of us are sitting in spots today wanting that success, but we haven't evolved into it. We haven't matured. We haven't got rid of the toys or the time wasting things along the way so that we can be successful at that next phase. Okay. Couldn't share with you more enough of that. There was times, don't get me wrong, it was not sexy. There was times that was just like, ugh. I was single at the time. I was like, I can't go out. That's when I wanted to go out. Yeah, I don't have any money. I'm good. Sorry. Or like, I didn't go home for Christmas. It was like, I don't have the money for the gas money. I need to stay here and focus on what I need to get focused on. And people don't understand that. Okay. All right. People just don't understand this sometimes. So like I said, I also had to evolve into my future self. Into my future, I had to delegate. I had to learn how to hire. Okay. I had to use systems that were better than what I had to use tools. I had to use vendors better. I had to be coachable. I've always thought I was a very coachable person there, but I had to become coachable again. I didn't know everything. Okay. I needed new mentors in my life. I knew people I needed to evolve into, and I was very fortunate to find some really great mentors that have helped me out in a variety of ways. Okay. I had to change my priorities first and foremost. What was important to me? And that comes with a variety of things too. A lot of times we have a little bit of success and we have some new things thrown our way. And you have to look at, well, is this taking me away from where I ultimately need to be? What's your big goal? Is it making money? Is it closing deals? Is it 1 million views in the podcast? Is it 10,000 investors? What's your big view of things? And we have, we've got the big goal of helping 10,000 investors out there. We also have big goal closing on averaging 1 deal per day. All right, for the year, 365 deals for the year. We went above that last year. The year before that, we were a little short of that, but not much. But still, a phenomenal year for most people. I just had to change how I did my things differently. Especially last year, we exceeded the 300 deals because we adjusted how we did some things. I took some systems in place and we went bigger. We added a 0 to the deals that we made. Very simple on what we had to do. And that's one of the things I want to challenge all of you. If you are seeing things that are distracting you from your main focus of making offers, getting deals done, then make more offers. Okay? Put the things to the sideline. I mean, sometimes I know that things get thrown our way. Sexiness, really sexy. Oh, I've been asked to speak here. I've been asked to write, or I've been asked to go to this event. That's great. But make sure it doesn't take away. Are you hitting what you need to hit with the 10, 20, 30, 40 hours you had? Are you still hitting your numbers of what you need to be? Is that putting money into your pocket, or is it taking your focus away from the money-making objects? Okay. That's one of the beautiful things about our Note Mastermind is that we have seen that evolve. I've evolved with it over the last, 5, 6 years we've had it because of different people that come through. I've learned just as much from a lot of my students as I hopefully have helped them with. I've seen the problems that they've faced and tried to help them overcome it because I was usually there ahead of them. But they've also had some people that have pushed me in a good way to evolve into different things or to solve things. And that's what I love about it. And I'm really excited. I'm excited for this weekend with our fast track students. I'm excited for the Note Mastermind taking place in August. We really got some great stuff lined up over the next 2 months, and I'm excited to see the changes that I'm evolving right now. Been evolving, really focusing on some things, and I look forward to what the next evolution is in Scott Carson. I've had to evolve into something bigger. And sometimes you have to go through downtrods or down things, refix things. I think it's kind of it's okay. It happens to us all. You've got to take a step back, make sure everything's good before you take 2 steps forward. Sometimes you got to take a step back, boom, and move forward. And I look forward to what's going on in the next 30, 60, 90 days. Okay. So let me help you let me help you tonight. I know we're all struggling, and I put a little poll together to ask you guys what you're struggling with. What are you struggling to find focus with? Is it, what real estate deals I need to focus on? Is it marketing? Is it focusing on due diligence? Is due diligence taking a lot of my time? Is it raising capital? Is it that I'm working more than 40 hours a week at a job that takes my priorities? And I can respect it. I can understand that. Okay. Do I have an unsupportive family? That can be difficult. Am I struggling with what am I doing after or with my vendors? What am I doing? What am I struggling with? Am I struggling after the fact? I've got some people, I know some people I've talked to that bought a lot of assets a year ago, 2 years ago, and they're still struggling to move those assets. That's fine. It happens. Hey, trust me, I've got a few assets that are dragging on as well. All right. So look, I'd like just to ask, what are you guys doing? I appreciate looks like we had about 10% of those that have voted. Oh, we're up to 16 now. Great. Something should have popped up on your screen. Okay. On what your focus is. For those that here are on Zoom, those that are on Facebook can't really see everything. What are you guys, what is your focus? What are you struggling with? Okay. What are the things you're focused on? Come on, give me a few. All right, there we go. Come on, people. Take a few seconds, click on a button or two. I can't see what you're struggling with, but what we can do is we can talk about it. Okay. I don't know if it'll let you do more than one. I don't remember how I said it, whether do it for more than one or do it one or just one. Okay. Once again, when I mean what real estate deals, I mentioned today, what real estate deals should I be focused on? First, seconds, fix and flips, stuff like that. Okay. Marketing. Oh, that's a big thing. That's the number one thing. What do I need to be doing to market? Due diligence is actually the second. Workouts and REO marketing, that's not really a big thing. Okay. About a quarter of you are struggling because you're working a full-time job. I get that. Okay. Raising capital is about 35. Okay. Come on, let's get a few more people to make some votes on this thing. Let's get this thing as close to 80% as we can. It does let you do more than one. That's fine. Thank you, Sylvia. Appreciate it. Just let me know that. So it does let you do more than one. But really, what's your biggest thing here? If you've already voted, great. Just focus on one. That's fine. If you focused and post a couple things, that's completely great. So let's go for another 20 seconds, everybody. Come on, everybody. If you got it, answer a couple of those things. I can't see what you pick. This is a blind poll. Doesn't share anything on my side. Get 2 more votes. Come on, everybody. 2 more votes to what we got going on here. All righty. Oh, there. Oh, thank you very much. Perfect. We got our final 2. We're at 76% of you voted. Good. We're going to end polling on that. All right. And let's see here. So overwhelmingly, people, it's either this really doesn't surprise me. Let's share the results here. Number 1 is marketing. Okay. Number 2 is raising capital. Third is what real estate deals should I focus on? And 4, what do I do with my job? All right. And raising cap. Yeah. So that doesn't surprise me because those are ultimately the 4 biggest things that always people struggle with. So let's talk about marketing. First and foremost, an email out to your database or posting on social media is got to do that these days. Okay. If you're not posting to Facebook or Instagram, especially now, Instagram now will allow you to do up to 16 minutes of video on a post where it can be seen. That's dangerous. Okay. That's awesome. But it's also a whole tool that's going to hurt YouTube some because the fact that Instagram is so mobile focused, that's huge. So posting, you got to learn to market. And when am I talking about marketing? It's emails, it's video. Those are the 2 biggest things, the biggest bang for your bucks. Okay. And using a combination of posts to LinkedIn, Bigger Pockets, sharing what's going on or asking questions on a regular basis. Okay. Very easily tap into an RSS feed through DS News or Housing Wire to share things on a regular basis. So what's going on there to drive traffic. One of the easiest things you can do. Okay. 2, and I will tell you this, schedule it. All this is only going to work if you schedule time to do this. Okay. I know, I got a new tape in. I got to spend time on due diligence. No, you need to spend time on marketing. Well, Scott, that's not what I want to do. Well, did you do your marketing today? No, I did not do your marketing today. Well, then do it first. That should be your big rock every day. What are you doing today to market? Okay. What are you doing today to market? All right. Second thing we have on here is raising capital. You know what? Raising capital, if you're struggling with raising capital, I guarantee it's probably because you're not marketing enough. Okay? You're probably not marketing enough. You're not getting out talking to enough people. You're not getting out networking. You're not out pressing the palms or sending an email out and electronically pressing the palm. That's the second biggest thing to raising capital. Third thing on here is what real estate deals to do. Focus on one thing and just one thing only. If you're off going to try to do 3 or 4 things, then just look, notes probably aren't for you. Well, I got money burning a hole in my pocket. Great. Just hang on. You know, are you doing as much marketing as you possibly can? Are you doing an email blast out to your database? Are you just trying to go to the low-hanging fruit? Be honest with yourself. If you're just going the low-hanging fruit where everybody else is going, yeah, you're going to get pay over pay. Spend some time, put some things in place. Spend a weekend working on marketing. Spend a weekend or a night at least on something new for your business, for your asset managers. Direct messages on LinkedIn. They can't see that you're up at 3 a.m. I mean, they might, but who cares? They would say, well, somebody's hungry at 3 a.m., okay? Now, if you're working more than 40 hours per week, you really got to focus on trying to get 10 hours. Try to get 10 hours in. It's 2 hours every workday, or it's 4 hours on the weekend and an hour and a half each day. And like I said before, if you have a long commute time or it's because of traffic, try to do something, figure out something you can do with that commute. Either if you're riding the bus or if you're traffic, you're driving, well, just hang around, either get to the office an hour earlier or leave, just staying around for an hour, work on some stuff. Maybe you don't do it in your office or your boss doesn't see. Maybe you need to go to a cafe around the corner, someplace like that. Starbucks, you just work for an hour. Because if you head out, I guarantee if you head and miss the traffic, you're going to get home probably the same time if you leave an hour later anyway. Just tell your spouse, honey, I need an hour or two. I'll be home at 7 instead of 5 or 6. I'll be home at 7. I'm going to leave a little bit later. I just need really to focus on this. This is what I need to do. And if you have unsupportive family, the best thing you can tell them is like, listen, believe in me. Give me a year to work on this in a part-time because I'm not happy with where I'm at. I'm not happy where we're at. And I guarantee if your family or your spouse knows that you're unhappy, they don't want you to be unhappy. They want you to be happy, or they're really not your friends. And if you tell them that and you're really honest with them about your happiness or your unhappiness and say, look, give me a year, give me a chance to make this work. I can do this. There's a lot of other people that have done this before me that I get to surround myself with. That's the beautiful thing about the note industry. It is so friendly most of the time. There's only about 5% of assholes out here you don't want to associate with, but 95% of the people, for the most part, have a big heart and want you to succeed. Okay? They're not just for themselves. All right, so Julianne asked a good question. How do we get back focused when you get sidetracked on a loan workout or a deal that seems like it keeps returning? Seems like all you're doing is dealing with those and not the better money-making opportunities. Julianne, I need probably a little bit more thing on this. The thing I would tell you is, do you have a vendor that's helping, like hiring? If you've got a difficult loan workout, hopefully you've got a vendor that's doing that. Hopefully you got like the Singer Law Group doing it. If you've got somebody that's not doing a good job, move it to somebody else. You literally go, hey, we need to do this. Here's the drop dead date. If you've got a borrower who keeps pulling the rug out, at some point, like, no, we're not doing this anymore. We're going to move on. And you've got to make a decision. Okay? So that's what I would say, Juliana, is make the decision. Hopefully you've got a third-party vendor that's helping out that you don't have to be the asshole. You can let them be hey, my attorney, you've got by these specific days to get done, okay? Sylvia, honestly, I don't think first and foremost, first and seconds. Here's what my big belief on first and seconds is: you take it or you leave it. If you have first and seconds right now, great, congrats. You've got seconds now. Most people don't see seconds. Seconds aren't coming around here as much. That's why you see a lot of seconds guys going into the first side or starting to teach. Oh, I'm going to be a teacher now. Well, you've done 20 deals or 30 deals, or you've not done that many deals. You can't be a really good teacher on first side with a note business when you're teaching about something that is dead. Okay? So if you've got first and seconds and you're got that, great, keep them. I'm not saying any bad thing. What I'm saying is, where are you going long term? I don't see a lot of seconds being created. I haven't seen a lot of seconds created in the last couple of years. So I would not be focusing your time on originating or trying to find seconds now, focusing on firsts. Okay? Okay? Zip says, where do attorneys come into play? Can real estate closing attorneys handle a note closing? You always mention single or longer, but is a note closing region specific? No, look, you're not going to close with an attorney, Zip. It's more of a wire money, and then the collateral shows up. That's a longer group. That's a longer discussion than right here tonight. Okay. You need real estate attorneys in that specific state who handle the foreclosures for you. Okay. Foreclosures and that stuff. That's what you need real estate attorneys for. But as far as closings, you're not closing a title company. You're not closing with a real estate attorney for the most part, unless you're doing a private transaction. Okay. So, look, if you have trouble with REO marketing or loan workouts, hire somebody to help you out. That's the first and foremost. You got to hire somebody to help you out to get things done. Okay. If you don't know what to focus on one thing and talk to people that are the most successful at what they're doing. Okay. Unless you're everything. You see somebody's doing 2, 3, 4, 5 things, running with a chicken with their head cut off, they're not going to be successful at stuff long term. They might be successful for a little while, but they're not going to be successful long term. It's not going to happen. Okay. All right. I can prove me right. Trust me. Unless they're hiring, unless you got a ton of money and they're hiring people to manage their businesses, that's the only exception. They're hiring like a franchise. Oh, you're a general manager of this business. You're handling this business. You're handling this business. That's the only excuse. But I guarantee most of you aren't doing that. Okay. So, guys and gals, look, 2 biggest things you can do: Big Rocks list and scheduling. Those are the 2 biggest things. The things you're struggling with, schedule your marketing. Schedule your email. Schedule your blast. If you need help scheduling, you don't have the time to post every day, freaking go on and learn Buffer or Hootsuite. Those are the 2 easiest things to get things on, okay? Cedric says, this really helped. Thank you. See you in Houston. Sounds good, Cedric. Sounds great, man. So focus. Look, you have to schedule something. If you're constantly banging your head against the wall because you don't have time, you're the problem. I only say that because I was my biggest problem. I was doing a multitude of things till I had a really heart-to-heart 13 plus years ago. What am I focused on? I've had to do that even so. Hey, what are the things that I'm focused on to get things ready? And you guys don't see everything I do. You see some of the things I do, but you don't see nearly 75% of the stuff that I'm doing behind the scenes. I know that you see the podcast and you see No Night in America, but you don't see the staff. You don't see the conversations I have. You don't see the phone calls I have with asset managers. You don't see the marketing stuff that we're focused on long term. And I build things up to help get things going long term with things. And the most successful people focus on one thing and one thing at a time. So they got that rock and running, and then they worry about side things. And I've been sidetracked. If you ever want to read a really good book about helping you with your focus, read Outwitting the Devil. It'll make you think, man, am I drifting? Am I being my own worst enemy by constantly drifting into the other lanes? So the best thing I can tell you is be like a NASCAR driver. NASCAR driver isn't worried about all of it. They pick their line and they stick in their line. They stick in their lane. They pick that line out, and that's how they run. They run that race. We're all in a race of left turns, some right turns, some upside down, upside down. Pick your line, stick to it, and learn to schedule it. Okay? Get rid of the distractions the best you can. Start with the big rocks first. Schedule those big rocks. If you are working full-time somewhere else, schedule the time block it, and you'll be a lot happier in the long run. Any questions, comments from you guys, gals? How are we doing on time? Oh, we're right over an hour. Perfect. Questions, comments before I let you go this Monday night, everybody? Don, you're going to have what system, what software do I use to organize? Really simple. I use Outlook Calendar to schedule events, or Google Calendar to schedule my time blocking, as I would do. Okay. All right, that's what I use to organize. I use software in Excel. Don't have to be anything difficult. Some people want to go out and get COVID planners and, I'm going to use all this. Just keep it simple, something that's easy to use, easy to interact with, and be focused. Go out and make some stuff happen, and trust me, keep it simple. You'll love it. Hoot. Beth asked a question. You can use buffer.com or Hootsuite, like an owl. Hoot. HOOTSUITE. Hootsuite.com or buffer.com. Okay. I use Hootsuite initially to help me set up my marketing as far as regular posts. I can schedule that stuff out. And we've moved to Buffer because Buffer gives us a bigger alternative to more social platforms and social posts. So I use buffer.com. And I'll give you an example. I got Shannon coming in tomorrow. And obviously, my regularly scheduled posts over the last 90 days have kind of filtered out, obviously, because we stopped focusing on that. We're revamping that back up. Okay, let's get back on a 90-day marketing calendar. Now we've got a lot scheduled. Now we've got the 2 vacations out of the way that we took here in April and May, getting set back up for the next 6 months. Let's get stuff posted on a regular basis. We'll be using buffer.com for that, and that will help out. I can schedule posts and things like that. Using Calendly.me. Calendly is a really good application to help schedule appointments. Very simple to use. I think it's free too. Calendly. Instead of calendar, Calendly. Really cool thing. I can set it up. So if somebody needs to reach out to me for the most part, unless they're in my phone as a mastermind student who calls me all the time for questions, which I'm glad to answer, that's completely fine. But a lot of times I try to put people to the afternoon, 2 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, schedule appointment. Let's talk then. Okay. All right. That's what I use. Come in really handy. And I block the rest of my schedule for the most part. So I would say I always feel like I get more stuff done with my time blocking, and I know I've gotten stuff knocked out, get stuff done, and we're moving on to the next evolution, the next thing in my calendar, get things done. Okay. Great. Thanks, Christina. Great. Thanks, Rich and Joe. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for tonight's Note Night in America. Glad to be back. Hopefully it was helpful, beneficial to you all. Do yourself a favor. If you really want to make me happy or be happy, please implement some of these things. Please. You're not harming me. You're only harming yourself if you don't take things in action and do things on a regular basis, okay? You're only hurting yourself. And trust me, when I see people that are hanging around and constantly hanging around, and they're not, I'm like, man, why? You could be doing so much more. We all can reach higher, right? We all reach up. You ever done this trick, the little thing where you reach up? Well, can you go a little higher? Well, yeah, I can climb up. Well, can you stand up? Yeah, I can go a little higher. I can go higher. We all can do more with our time, with the tools that God gave us. We can all do more, and I challenge you to do more, okay? And with that way, when you reach a little higher, eventually we'll see you all at the top. Bye, everybody.